Hey, it's me, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer, and welcome back to another video. And it's another round of quick topics. Quick topics looking at movie collection discussions, questions to do with movies, TV, anything like that. I'm going to be discussing in this episode. So let's get to the topics. So the first topic I want to look at is, should Power Rangers have another movie adaptation, another reboot? So we had the 2017 adaptation of the Power Rangers property, and I'll be honest, I really enjoyed that movie. And I remember at the time I think whoever, maybe was it Lionsgate, maybe I'm not too sure, 100% sure, but I remember them saying that they were planning out like I think it was like 5 sequels, some like a crazy number in like the sort of like the big meetings of all the heads of their filmmakers, and they said they were going to do loads of these Power Rangers movies. And I was like at the time thinking, this was before the release. This is super exciting because I really enjoyed the original show, and I thought it would be great to see a live action Power Rangers universe. And I really enjoyed the movie. It didn't do that well, and the sequel never came to be. And they kind of said, a sequel will never happen. And I know in the years since, there has been talk of doing another live action adaptation, but it kind of feels like it's one of those where, like a Masters of the Universe scenario, where it's just going to fizzle, and it'll just fizzle out, and we'll never see an actual live action reboot again. But should it happen? I think it should. I think Power Rangers is a great show, and I think it's got a lot of mythology there now. I think, it's been running for over 20 years. I think there's a lot in like the comic books, the video games, tons of different material. And I think looking at the Shattered Grid, the more recent comic book run, was I mean it's hugely popular. I'll be honest, I've not read that comic book fully, but I know certain parts of it, certain elements. And I think adapting something like that would be really cool. But I do think it would be great to see as a live action universe. But it depends how much money it does. Again, are we just going to see another reboot and it makes zero money, and then we never see sequels again? I'd love it to be done by like a filmmaker who has credibility, because I think if you get like a big name director behind it, you're going to get a bit more of traction there from people wanting to go and see the film, and hopefully it would make a lot more money. And that would be my my hope for it. But I'd love to see it. I'd love to see another adaptation of the Power Rangers property. I mean, start off with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, go for it again, just do a new adaptation, and let's see how it goes. But yeah, I think they need a big time director for any type of live action universe to really take off for Power Rangers. So the next question I want to look at is, what do I think of video shops, video stores in America, rental stores opening in 2022? I heard of this recently, that one in the UK where they opened a video shop. I'm not too sure exactly where it was. I think it was down south somewhere. But they opened a video shop, and I'm sure they were doing other things there. They were selling like video games, and it was like more like a museum type of video shop, but you could rent out videos, VHS from the shop. And it just kind of got me thinking, what do I think about opening video shops in 2022? Is it a viable business? Is it just a nostalgia buzz? What do I think? I think all in all, it's looking at a viable business. Look, I'm not a businessman. I who's to say it's not a viable business? Personally speaking, I would say it is kind of I wouldn't say it was probably the most profitable of businesses. I think if you are getting into opening a video shop in 2022, it's probably because you're super passionate about it, and that is awesome. I'd love to definitely visit one of these VHS shops in the UK at some point. But I think it is just a nostalgia buzz, and I think that's nice that there's people out there who are willing to put the money into creating like a shop that it creates nostalgia for people who grew up with VHS, like myself, and it creates that sort of environment where you can go. And I imagine in them sort of shops, you're going to get people who are just really passionate about films, and it's not going to be people who are just going to be off the streets wanting to rent a video, because let's be honest, not many of us have video players anymore. I don't have a video player anymore. I think there's a lot of people who don't have video players, or just don't have an interest in collecting VHS. I think it's more similar to YouTube. It's a community, and I think if they are creating locations wherever it be in the UK or across the world, I think it's cool. And I don't think it would be something I would start a business in 2022. But I think it is awesome that people are creating these environments for movie communities, and I think that is super duper cool. So the next topic I want to discuss today comes from Mark in the Movie Cheer Town community, and Mark brought up this question: should you upgrade a movie collection to embrace newer technologies, or should you settle with the physical media format you have and grow with that instead? And I thought this was a really cool question from Mark, and it kind of like got me thinking about myself, what I collect. I collect DVD, and it's like, I'm saying to myself, should I upgrade all the time? This is a question I'm always like questioning myself. Should I get into Blu-ray? Should I get into 4K? And should I embrace newer technologies? And I'm not a Luddite. I'm not against newer technologies and not embracing new technology. I think it's great. 4K looks amazing. I think it all depends on the person and what you want from your film. I think I have noticed myself more recently with certain things I'm watching on the TV with streaming. I notice like the higher quality, and when I flick to a channel that's not like it's not a high quality streaming service or a stream, and I noticed like the quality like reduction, and kind of got me thinking more about movies. And like I always say, for me, it's always about the movie. And that's why for me, DVD, I think even if I do get into Blu-ray or 4K, I think I'm always going to go to DVD still and collect DVD because it is just it's a super cheap format. And it's also a format you can get very easily now. You can go to charity shops, you can go on eBay, you can get it cheap, but there's a lot more of a selection there as well. It's not also about being cheap, it's being, there's a lot more broad of a selection available to us as moviegoers. I think for me, should you upgrade? I think I will eventually upgrade to 4K. I think I'm probably going to end up going to getting like a 4K player and getting a few of my favorite movies on 4K and some of the experiences that I want to really take in on 4K, like movies like Interstellar, because it was like one of the first movies I watched at the IMAX, and I think it would be great to watch on a 4K screen. And some of the like the Batman, The Dark Knight, that would be one I would really like to watch. There's a few, I've got like a list of movies that I'd like to watch in 4K and eventually get on 4K when I do go to the format. So I think it depends. If you are happy with DVD, grow with that, because you can get an awesome collection of movies for a really good price and there's plenty of selection. I think if you're wanting to just get that higher end of visual content, I think if you want to watch a movie in the best possible format, embracing new technology, and there's nothing with going either way. I think I will certainly go to 4K at one point, but I will still always keep my DVDs and still collect DVDs. That's the way I feel at this moment in time. Maybe I will change in the future, but I think as 4K, it's an experience, and same with Blu-ray. It's a higher quality experience, but I don't really need to have every movie in that higher quality format. I feel like it's an experience where I need higher quality for certain films only. But great question from Mark. Should Marvel recast the legacy characters? Legacy characters I'm talking about, in The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America 4, Black Widow, them characters, should they eventually be recast? I think in the MCU currently, we're getting that sort of passing of the torch of the mantles. Like, for instance, Captain America, we've seen the passing the torch of that title, that name. And I think we're going to probably see it more often moving forward. But talking about actually recasting them roles in, saying, for instance, having another actor play Tony Stark instead of Robert Downey Jr., would it work? Should it work? Do I think it'll happen? I think it eventually will happen. I think now it works because of the multiverse. It can currently work anyway. Obviously, moving forward, we don't know how the story is going to change, if we're going to go back to one individual universe moving forward. But I think it can work in the fact that you have like Tony Stark from this universe, who is played by Robert Downey Jr., and in a completely different universe, we have a different version of Tony Stark, who maybe is a younger version of Tony Stark, played by a completely different actor. And I think because of that multiverse idea, it works, and you can have a new Iron Man trilogy, and I wouldn't be against that. I think it actually would be cool to see on screen, to see some of these legacy characters recast. And I think most people going to the cinema and watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe now have kind of got a grasp of this multiverse idea where there's different variants of different characters. And obviously watching the Doctor Strange and the most recent Spider-Man movie, it's on the big screen now in these blockbuster movies. The concept is there. I think the general viewer is kind of grasped that concept that, different people can play different roles, or you can have different versions. Same with the Loki show. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I hope they do it. I hope they do it, because it's going to come to a point where people will want to see a new Iron Man trilogy, and maybe Robert Downey Jr. doesn't want to do it, and you want to have that role of Tony Stark, the character Tony Stark in there. They've got to recast it, and I think it'll be cool to see someone else take the mantle, take them roles on, and then to see them new roles, them new characters, and new actors then sort of interacting with the previous actors at some point as well. I think that would be nice to see on screen. What is the best type of seat for movie viewing? And I'm talking about movie viewing at home, ladies and gents. I will say cinema seats are the most uncomfortable seats. 2 hours in the cinema, I get up and my backside is numb. I will say that. I think we can all appreciate and get that general feeling of going to cinema, unless you go to one of these cinemas where they've got like hot tubs in and these fancy recliners. The average cinema seat is usually like it's like a hard, like it's like sitting on a rock. You stand up and it's not a great experience when you've been sitting down for 2 hours. But at home, what is the best seat? I'll be honest, I at home I like to put my feet up when I'm watching a movie. So I'm sitting on this poofy now. I like to, when I'm sitting in this room, I like to have my chair, my spin around chair, put my feet up. If I'm sitting in other rooms, I do like a recliner. I'll be honest with you though, I do like lying down in a bed sometimes. I have my TV in the room, and I do like lounging on the bed. But sometimes I suppose it's one of those where I can always fall asleep, and that's like the downfall of the bed while watching a movie. So I think for me, it's got to be a recliner of some sort, somewhere you can put up your feet, because I like putting up feet, having a coffee. That's the way I enjoy watching a movie. Who should be the main Spider-Man in the MCU moving forward? Obviously, the main one currently is Tom Holland. We don't really know if he's going to do more sequels. I imagine he probably will do more. But, you've got Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. Will they potentially come in for more movies? Who knows? But who would I like to see? I like Tom Holland. I think he's great. I do like Tobey Maguire. I really enjoyed the first two movies, at least of his. Andrew Garfield, I've come to appreciate his Spider-Man movies a lot more recently. In this past year, I rewatched the Amazing Spider-Man movie, and I thought it was fantastic. Moving forward, I really would like to see Andrew Garfield as the mainline Batman, the mainline Spider-Man moving forward. I think he would be great to see interacting, because if Sony do continue the Spider-Man movies on their own, it feels like the Sony universe is its own thing, and I feel like Tom Holland's Spider-Man would be completely separate. But if in the MCU, I think Andrew Garfield would be great, because you can kind of say, okay, Tom Holland's universe is all on his own, and then we have Andrew Garfield, who is the MCU Spider-Man, and Marvel can then use that character as much as they want in whatever stories they like, and it won't affect Tom Holland's Spider-Man, because they're two separate things, kind of like Matt Reeves' Batman versus whoever the mainline Batman is in the DCEU, whether it be Keaton or Affleck. They're kind of like separate entities, separate properties altogether. So yeah, I would love to see Andrew Garfield as the main Spider-Man moving forward in the MCU. So that's it for today's Quick Topics. If you have a topic you'd like to have discussed on a future episode of Quick Topics, drop it in the comments below. I will happily answer all movie, TV, and physical media questions, movie collecting questions. I think it's awesome to just do these quick topics in these videos. But big thank you to Mark as well for today's topic as well. Superb topic. And I just want to say big thank you to everyone for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and check out the rest of the movie related content on the channel, and let me know all your thoughts on today's topics, ladies and gents. What do you think of today's topics? give me all of your answers in the comments below as well. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer, and as always, I will see you next time.